My photos were leaked online, and my husband discovered my betrayal. I still remember clearly the day our seemingly perfect life began to crumble. It was a hot summer afternoon, and as usual, I was at home working on my freelance graphic design projects. My husband Paul had just left for a business meeting. We were that couple all our friends envied, passionate, partners in everything, always smiling in photos on social media. Everything was fine until I received a notification on my phone. It was an Instagram message from an unknown account. Curiosity got the better of me, and I opened the message. What I saw froze me inside. They were photos of Paul in compromising moments with another woman. The images were blurry, but it was undeniably him. I was paralyzed for a few minutes, trying to process what was happening. This can't be true, I thought, trying to convince myself there was some mistake. I began to feel my heart beat faster, a mix of anger, sadness, and fear invading my body. I decided to call Paul immediately, but he didn't answer. I kept trying, desperate to clarify this absurd situation. While waiting for him to call me back, I couldn't help but mentally review our relationship. We met in college. He was the charming and intelligent guy everyone admired. Our connection was instant, and we quickly became inseparable. We got married 2 years after graduation, and since then, we built a life together that seemed like a fairy tale. Paul finally returned my call. His voice was calm, as if nothing had happened. "Love, I'm in a meeting. Did something happen?" he asked with his usual softness. "Paul, I received some strange photos on Instagram. Do you know anything about this?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. There was silence on the other end of the line. "Photos? What kind of photos?" The hesitation in his voice was unmistakable. "Photos of you with another woman. Paul, are you cheating on me?" My voice finally broke, betraying the calm I was trying to maintain. "That's absurd. I don't know what you're talking about. They must be photo montages or some bad joke," he replied. But something in his voice didn't seem right. I hung up the phone, feeling a knot forming in my stomach. I went to the bedroom and collapsed on the bed, tears streaming down my face. I wanted to believe him, to believe that all this was just a misunderstanding. But something inside me knew the truth was darker. I decided to investigate further. I spent the next few hours looking through Paul's social media, trying to find any indication that would corroborate or disprove the photos. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. But then a new notification arrived. It was the same unknown account, now sending a video. With trembling hands, I pressed play. The video showed Paul and the woman in a restaurant, laughing and touching each other. It was impossible to deny the reality of that video. I felt my world completely crumble. How could he do this to me? What did I do wrong? At that moment, I realized I needed to confront Paul in person. I couldn't leave it like this. I needed answers. I got up from the bed, dried my tears, and decided that from that moment on, I would uncover the whole truth, no matter how painful it was. That night, Paul came home later than usual. He walked in with his usual smile, but as soon as he saw me, he realized something was wrong. I was sitting in the living room, holding my phone with the photos and video open. "We need to talk," I said, my voice firm, but my heart pounding in my chest. He sighed, put down his briefcase and approached slowly. "What's wrong, love?" I showed him the phone without saying a word. He looked at the screen, and his face paled. "I can explain," he began, but I interrupted him. "I don't want empty explanations, Paul. I want the truth. Did you cheat on me?" He sat on the couch, covering his face with his hands. It was a mistake, something that should never have happened. It was just once. My legs gave way and I sat next to him. "Once? And you think that makes it less serious? Who is she?" "She's a colleague from work. We were going through a tough time at work and ended up getting closer than we should have. You think that justifies betraying your wife? I shouted, my voice full of pain and anger. I gave you everything, Paul. Trust, love, support. And you destroyed it all with one selfish decision. I know. I was an idiot. Please forgive me. I love you. It never meant anything. Looking into his eyes, I saw regret, but I also saw fear. Fear of losing the life we had built together. But what he didn't understand was that he had already lost a part of me, a part that trusted him blindly. I need time, Paul. I need to think. I don't know if I can just forgive and forget. You hurt me deeply. He tried to take my hand, but I pulled away. Please, Laura, don't give up on us. I'm not giving up on us. I just need time to process all this. And you need to think about the consequences of your actions. I left the living room and went to the bedroom, closing the door behind me. I wanted to cry, scream, but I was so emotionally exhausted that I just lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling. During the night, thoughts swirled incessantly in my mind. How could he do this to me? And who was this woman really? The photos and the video didn't seem like a one-time thing. There was something deeper there, something Paul wasn't telling me. The next morning, I decided to go to Paul's office. I needed to see for myself who this woman was who had come into our lives. When I arrived, the secretary looked at me with surprise but didn't stop me. She knew I was Paul's wife and probably had already heard the rumours. I walked to his office, my hands sweating and my heart racing. When I opened the door, I saw Paul sitting at his desk with a woman beside him. She turned, and for a moment, our eyes met. She was beautiful, young, and had a look of surprise and guilt. Laura, what are you doing here? Paul got up, trying to guide me out of the office. I came to see who the woman who almost destroyed my marriage is, I responded, looking at her intently. How could you do this? You knew he was married. She lowered her head, avoiding my gaze. I'm so sorry. I didn't want this to happen. It was a mistake. Paul tried to calm me, but I was furious. A mistake? You two threw away years of trust and love for a mistake? I walked out of the office without looking back. I needed answers, but I knew I wouldn't find them there. I needed to think about what to do next, but one thing was certain. This was just the tip of the iceberg. The following days were a whirlwind of emotions. Paul constantly tried to win me back, asking for forgiveness, swearing it was over and he would never do something like that again. But I couldn't trust him. The images and the video were etched in my mind, a constant reminder of his betrayal. I decided to talk to my closest friends. They were my support and anchor in times of crisis. I arranged a meeting with Clara, my best friend since childhood, at a cafe we used to frequent. Laura, you look like a ghost, Clara said as soon as she saw me. What's going on? I told her everything, from the photos on Instagram to the confrontation in Paul's office. Clara was in shock. I never imagined Paul was capable of something like this. He always seemed so devoted to you. I thought so too, I replied, my voice trembling. But now, I don't know what to think. He says it was just once, but something doesn't add up. Clara took my hand. You deserve to know the truth, Laura. No matter how painful it is. In the following days, I started to investigate Paul's life more thoroughly. I talked to his colleagues, disguising my intentions as casual curiosity. It was then that I discovered something even more disturbing. There were rumours that Paul maintained a fake profile on social media, where he interacted with other women under a different identity. With Clara's help, I created a fake account and began searching for that profile. It didn't take long to find it. There he was, with a different name but using photos of himself. He flirted openly with several women, some of whom seemed to know his true identity. My heart broke even more. Paul had not only betrayed me physically, but also emotionally, maintaining parallel relationships online. I confronted him again, this time with even more compelling evidence. "You lied to me, Paul. It wasn't just once. You have a double life on social media," I said, showing the screenshots. He seemed to crumble before my eyes. "Laura, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. I was an idiot, a coward. I don't deserve your forgiveness." For the first time, I saw true sadness in his eyes. But it wasn't enough. "You not only betrayed me, Paul, you destroyed the trust we had. How can I believe anything you say now?" He remained silent, knowing there were no more excuses. I got up and left the house, needing space to think. I spent the night at Clara's house, reflecting on everything. It was painful, but I knew I needed to move forward. Paul had shown me a side of him that I never imagined existed. I deserved someone who was honest and faithful, someone who didn't hide secrets behind fake profiles. I decided it was time to take a step towards my own happiness. I needed to find the strength to start anew, no matter how difficult it was. And so, with a heavy heart, I began to plan my future without Paul. The first days after deciding to leave Paul were the hardest of my life. Every corner of the house reminded me of us, of the happy moments we shared. I felt lost, like a part of me had been ripped away. Clara was an incredible friend during this period. She helped me find a small but cozy apartment where I could start over. We spent days organising everything, trying to transform that space into a home. "Laura, you are strong. I know it seems impossible now, but you will get through this," Clara constantly said, trying to cheer me up. One night, while organising my things in the new apartment, I found a wedding photo album. The memories of the smiles, the vows, the love we shared made me cry. It was hard to believe that all that had been destroyed by lies and betrayals. I decided I needed professional help to deal with the pain and betrayal. I arranged a session with a therapist recommended by Clara. In the first consultation, I felt nervous, but I knew it was a necessary step for my recovery. "Laura, it's normal to feel lost and betrayed, but you are not alone. We will work together so you can find peace and strength again," the therapist said with a warm smile. During the sessions, I began to realise that Paul's betrayal did not define my worth. I was a strong woman, capable of overcoming adversity. I started to focus on myself, on my projects, and on finding new passions. One day, while walking in the park, I found a group of local artists exhibiting their works. I had always loved art, but I had put that passion aside due to the whirlwind of life. I decided I would start painting again, something that always brought me peace and joy. I bought painting materials and began creating again. I realised that art helped me express my feelings in a way that words couldn't. My canvases started to reflect my journey, from pain to healing, from sadness to hope. During this healing process, Paul tried to contact me several times. He sent messages, asked to meet, but I knew I wasn't ready to talk to him yet. I needed more time to recover and find my own identity again. As the months passed, I began to feel a new strength within me. The pain was still there, but I was learning to live with it, to transform it into something positive. My work as a graphic designer was flourishing, and my paintings were starting to attract the attention of local galleries. It was at one of these exhibitions that I met Daniel, a talented photographer who admired my works. He was different from anyone I had ever met, kind, attentive, and passionate about life. "Your work is amazing, Laura. I can feel every emotion you've put into these canvases," he said with a genuine smile. Our connection was instant. We started going out together, and slowly I allowed myself to feel again. Daniel knew about my past and never tried to rush anything. He respected my time and space, something I deeply appreciated. With him, I learned that there was still love and kindness in the world, that I could trust and be happy again. But most importantly, I learned to value and love myself, to prioritize my own happiness. The process of rebuilding was long and painful, but it made me realize the strength I had within me. And with the support of friends, therapy, and new passions, I found a new purpose for my life, one that was genuinely mine. I was beginning to feel that my life was getting back on track. Daniel and I were happy, my work was going well, and my paintings were being recognized. I felt a peace I hadn't experienced in a long time. Then, one quiet morning, I received a message on my phone. It was from an unknown number. I opened the message out of curiosity and was shocked to see photos of Paul with another woman, again in compromising situations. But this time, it wasn't the same woman from the previous photos. Who was behind these photos? My heart raced, and a sense of déjà vu overcame me. I couldn't believe this was happening again. But this time, I wasn't the only victim. Daniel was in my life now, and I needed to protect that new love. I showed the photos to Clara, who was also shocked. "Laura, this is very strange. Who could be doing this? It seems like someone is trying to destroy your peace again." We decided to investigate together. We began by trying to trace the origin of the photos. Clara, who had some knowledge in technology, managed to identify that the photos came from an IP address located in our city. "Maybe it's someone who knows both you and Paul personally," suggested Clara. I went to Paul's office, something I had avoided since our separation. I found him in his office, looking worn out and older. I showed him the photos. "Paul, who is this woman? And why do these photos keep appearing?" He looked at the photos, confused. "Laura, I don't know who this woman is, and I don't know why someone would do this." The pain and confusion in his eyes seemed genuine, but I couldn't forget what he had done before. "You need to be honest with me, Paul. This can't continue." We spent hours trying to figure out who might be behind these messages. Paul mentioned that he had recently had some disagreements with colleagues and clients. Could it be someone seeking revenge? When I got home, I decided to focus on my life with Daniel. I told him about the new photos, and he was extremely understanding. "Laura, we'll figure this out together. You're not alone." With his support, I began to feel a new strength. But deep down, I knew I needed to confront this shadow from the past to finally move forward. The following week, I received an anonymous message. It was an invitation to meet the person who was sending the photos. The message said, "If you want the truth, meet me at the cafe where it all began." I showed the message to Daniel and Clara. We decided that I would go to the meeting, but with them nearby, in case something went wrong. On the appointed day, I went to the cafe with my heart in my throat. I sat at a table and waited. Minutes later, a woman walked in and came toward me. She was young, with blonde hair and determined eyes. "Laura, my name is Sophia. I'm the sister of the woman Paul cheated on you with." I was in shock. "What do you want from me?" My sister told me everything before she left. She was in love with Paul, and he promised her the world. But when she wanted him to keep his promises, he abandoned her. My sister committed suicide because of him. Sophia's words were a blow. I felt the pain of her loss as if it were mine. "I didn't know. I'm so sorry. I know Paul hurt you, but he destroyed my sister. I'm here to help you find justice. He has to pay for what he did." Sophia's revelation brought a new dimension to my pain, but it also gave me a sense of purpose. I wasn't alone in this. Together, we decided we would confront Paul and demand the truth. Sophia's revelation was a shock. I never imagined that Paul's betrayal could have caused so much suffering to someone else. I felt a new responsibility to seek justice, not just for me, but for Sophia's sister. In the following days, Sophia, Clara, and I met several times to plan our next step. We decided to confront Paul with the new information and demand answers. If he was truly responsible for this tragedy, he needed to face the consequences. We arranged a meeting at Clara's house, a neutral place where Paul wouldn't feel cornered. When he arrived, it was clear he was nervous, but tried to keep his composure. "Laura, what's going on? Who is this woman?" he asked, looking at Sophia. "Sophia is the sister of the woman you cheated on me with," I replied, watching his every reaction. "She took her own life because of the promises you made, and then broke." Paul turned pale. "I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. I never meant to hurt anyone like that." Sophia stepped forward, her eyes filled with tears. "You destroyed my sister's life. She loved you, believed in you, and you abandoned her like she meant nothing." Paul collapsed onto the couch, his hands trembling. "I made many mistakes, but I never wanted this. I was lost, confused. I didn't know how to get out of the situation I created." The anger and pain in Sophia were palpable. "That doesn't justify what you did. My sister is dead because of you." There was a long silence as Paul processed Sophia's words. Finally, he spoke, his voice low and filled with guilt. "I know I can't undo what I did, but I'm willing to face the consequences. What do you want from me?" I looked at Sophia, who nodded slightly. "We want you to take responsibility for your actions, to tell the truth, to face the authorities if necessary, and to never hurt another person like you hurt us." Paul agreed, the sadness in his eyes evident. "I'll do that. I'll confess everything and accept whatever comes. I'm sorry for everything." In the following days, Paul began taking steps to confess his actions, both at work and in his personal life. It was a painful but necessary process. Sophia and I were by his side, not to support him, but to ensure justice was served. During this time, my relationship with Daniel grew even stronger. He was my rock, giving me the strength to face each new challenge. Clara was also incredible, always present, always ready to help. Finally, Paul turned himself in to the authorities, confessing his role in the tragedy that led to Sophia's sister's death. It was a relief to know justice was being done, but the pain of loss and betrayal remained, a permanent scar on our lives. Sophia and I continued to see each other, forming a strong bond through our shared pain. We decided to start a project to help others deal with the consequences of betrayal and emotional abuse, turning our pain into something positive. The journey was long and painful, but in the end, I found a new strength within myself. I learned to value truth, trust, and true love. And most importantly, I learned to never let someone destroy me from the inside out. With Paul finally taking responsibility and justice being served, I felt a great weight lift off my shoulders. But that didn't mean everything was resolved. The pain was still there, and the healing process was ongoing. Sophia and I became great friends. Our connection through pain made us a strong team, determined to turn our experience into something positive. We decided to create a non-profit organisation to help people who had suffered betrayal and emotional abuse. We wanted to offer support, counselling and resources so others could find the strength to overcome their own battles. Our project started small but quickly gained traction. With the help of Clara and Daniel, we organised events, raised funds, and created a support network. Seeing people find strength through our initiative gave me a new purpose and a sense of fulfillment I had never experienced before. During that time, my relationship with Daniel deepened. He was my partner, my confidant, and my constant support. We decided to live together, and life with him was a combination of peace and joy I never imagined possible after all I had been through. "Laura, you are an inspiration to all of us," Daniel said one night as we lay in bed, talking about our future plans. "What you're doing is incredible, and I'm so proud of you." I smiled, feeling genuine happiness. I wouldn't have achieved any of this without you, Daniel. You helped me find the strength I didn't even know I had. Looking to the future, I began to see possibilities that once seemed out of reach. My career as a graphic designer was flourishing. My paintings were being exhibited in several galleries, and our organization was making a real difference in people's lives. I decided to enroll in a therapy course, wanting to deepen my knowledge and ability to help others. The path to becoming a therapist was challenging, but I knew I was on the right track. Every step brought me closer to my life's mission. Sophia also found a new purpose. She started studying psychology and became a key part of our organization, offering counseling and support to those in need. Seeing her transformation was inspiring, and knowing we were together on this journey gave me even more strength. One day, while organizing a fundraising event, Sophia came up to me with a smile. "Laura, I have a surprise for you. I've been invited to speak at a conference on mental health and resilience, and I want you to come with me." I was thrilled. "That's amazing, Sophia. Of course I'll go. We're doing something really important, and sharing our story can help many more people." The conference was a success. Sharing our story with a larger audience was a cathartic experience, and the positive feedback we received motivated us even more to continue our work. Each day was a new beginning, a new opportunity to make a difference. And while I still carried the scars of the past, I also carried a new strength and an unbreakable determination. I looked to the future with hope and gratitude, knowing that no matter the challenges that arose, I was ready to face them head-on. Life had taught me the importance of truth, resilience, and genuine love. And with those lessons, I knew I could overcome any obstacle and help others do the same. With the success of our organization and a renewed sense of purpose, I felt a peace that had eluded me for a long time. Sophia and I continued to work together, our shared experiences making us an unbeatable team. We decided to expand our project, offering workshops and talks in schools and businesses. We wanted to educate people about the dangers of emotional abuse and the importance of mental health. Our message was spreading, and the impact we were making was palpable. During one of those workshops, I met a young woman named Joanna. She approached me after the session, her eyes filled with tears. "Laura, your story touched me deeply. I went through something similar and didn't know how to get out of it." I talked with her for hours, offering all the support and advice I could. Seeing the gratitude and hope in her eyes reminded me why I started this project. Each person we helped was a victory, a step towards a better world. My relationship with Daniel continued to flourish. He was my partner in every sense, supporting me in every decision and challenge. We decided to take the next step and got engaged. The proposal was simple but filled with meaning, on a quiet afternoon in the park where we first met. "Laura, I want to spend the rest of my life with you," Daniel said, holding my hand. "You are the most amazing person I have ever met, and together we can face anything." I accepted with tears of happiness, feeling a deep and genuine love. Our wedding was an intimate celebration, surrounded by close friends and family. Clara was my maid of honor, and Sophia was also by my side, like a sister I had gained along this journey. The following months were filled with pure joy. Daniel and I bought a house together, a place where we could build new memories. We continued to work on our projects, supporting each other every step of the way. Our organization was also growing. With the help of new volunteers and professionals, we were reaching more people and offering more resources. We decided to open a 24-hour support line so that no one would feel alone in their moments of despair. During a team meeting, Sophia stood up and made an exciting announcement. "Laura, we've all seen the incredible work you've done, and as a form of recognition, we've decided to name our support line in your honor. It will be the Laura line, a symbol of strength and resilience." I was speechless, overwhelmed with emotion. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, everyone. This is the greatest recognition I could receive. We will continue working together, helping more and more people. Life was finally getting back on track. I felt complete, loved, and, above all, fulfilled. The pain of the past was still there, but now it was a distant memory, a lesson that had strengthened and shaped me into who I am today. I looked to the future with hope and determination, knowing that, with the support of my family and friends, I could face anything. The journey wasn't easy, but every step was worth it. And with my friends, my love, and my mission, I was ready to face whatever came. The days turned into a mix of intense work and pure joy with Daniel. Our organisation continued to grow, helping more and more people deal with the shadows of emotional abuse and betrayals. However, as with any journey, new challenges arose. During one of our weekly planning meetings, Clara brought up a concern. "Laura, we're getting a lot of calls on the Laura line. The demand is increasing faster than we expected, and we need more resources and volunteers to handle it all." It was bittersweet news. We were reaching more people, but our capacity was at its limit. We decided to organise a major fundraising event, something we had never done before. It would be a gala night, with presentations, art auctions, and speeches from some of our supporters. The preparations were intense. Daniel, always by my side, helped with every detail. He even prepared a photo presentation, capturing moments of our journey and the success stories of the people we had helped. Clara and Sophia coordinated the volunteers, ensuring everything was perfect. On the day of the event, I felt a familiar nervousness. It was a mix of anxiety and hope, knowing how much this event meant for our cause. The night began wonderfully, with many people attending, all willing to support our work. As I prepared to go on stage and give my speech, I received a message from an unknown number. I quickly opened the message and felt my heart stop. It was a photo of Daniel and me, taken clandestinely, in an intimate moment. The message said, "If you don't want more photos to be leaked, stop the event and leave now." My first instinct was panic, but then I remembered everything I had already faced. I couldn't allow someone to threaten my life again. I showed the message to Clara and Sophia, who immediately understood the seriousness of the situation. "We'll increase security and continue with the event," Clara said with determination. "We can't let them intimidate us." I went on stage with my heart racing, but my mind focused. I began my speech, telling the story of our organisation, our mission, and the victories we had achieved. I looked at the audience and saw attentive, inspired faces. "Each of you here today is helping us make a difference," I said firmly. "We are here to support, to fight, and to transform lives, and together we are stronger than any threat." Applause echoed through the hall, and I felt a wave of support that gave me even more courage. The event was an absolute success, raising more than we expected. It was a night of victory, but I knew the threat still loomed. The next day, we contacted the police and began investigating the origin of the messages. Clara and Sophia were with me every step of the way, ensuring that security was our priority. Daniel was a pillar of support, always reminding me of how much we had overcome together. "We'll find out who's behind this, Laura, and we won't let anyone destroy what we've built." The following days were intense, with the police tracing the messages and us reinforcing our security. We received support from many friends and partners, all willing to help us face this new threat. Finally, the police managed to trace the origin of the messages. It was someone we knew, a former colleague of Paul's, who was resentful of the success of our organisation and decided to attack us in a cowardly manner. He was arrested, and with that, A new wave of relief washed over me. Life went on, and with each challenge, our determination only grew. We knew there would still be obstacles, but we were ready to face them together. And so, with the support of my friends and the love of my life, I continued the journey, knowing that every step we were making a difference in the world. The resolved threat, our organisation refocused on growth and expanding our services. The success of the fundraising event gave us the resources we needed to hire more volunteers and improve our infrastructure. I felt we were in a new chapter, stronger and more united than ever. Clara suggested that we start offering support programs not only for victims of betrayals and emotional abuse, but also for their families and friends. Everyone is affected, Laura. We need to embrace the community as a whole, she said, and I couldn't agree more. With this new mission, we began developing workshops and group therapy sessions, creating a safe space for everyone to share their stories and find support. The response was incredible, and our community quickly grew even more. During one of those sessions, I met Joanna, a woman who was going through a very similar situation to mine. Her husband had repeatedly cheated on her, and she was trying to find the strength to move on. Her story touched me deeply, and I decided to become her personal mentor. Joanna was devastated, but determined to change her life. We started meeting regularly, and little by little, I saw an incredible transformation in her. She began rediscovering her passions, found a new job, and most importantly, started to value herself again. "Laura, you saved my life," Joanna said one day, with tears in her eyes. "I don't know how to thank you." "You saved your own life, Joanna. I just showed you the way. I'm so proud of you," I responded, feeling immense gratitude for being part of her journey. This experience showed me the true impact of our work. It wasn't just about overcoming the pain, but about transforming lives, giving hope, and showing that everyone deserves a second chance to be happy. Daniel and I also continued building our life together. Our marriage was a true partnership in every sense, and he became even more involved in our organisation, bringing new ideas and energy. One day, while we were walking in the park, Daniel stopped and looked into my eyes. "Laura, we've done so much for others. I think it's time to think about us. What do you think about starting a family?" The question took me by surprise, but in a good way. "I'd love to, Daniel. I think we're ready for this new chapter." The idea of starting a family with Daniel brought a new wave of happiness. We began planning, dreaming, and preparing for this new adventure. I knew that together, we could face anything. In the following months, we continued our work in the organisation while preparing for the arrival of a new family member. The community we created became even closer, everyone celebrating our victories and supporting us in our challenges. The strength of the community was palpable. The stories of overcoming, the moments of mutual support, all of this created a safety net and hope that motivated us to keep going. I knew we were making a difference, one life at a time. And so, with a new life in our arms and the strength of our community around us, we continued the journey. Every day was a new opportunity to love, grow, and help others find the same peace and happiness we had found. Life would never stop presenting challenges, but with love, support, and determination, we knew we could overcome anything. And with that, we continued, always together, always strong, ready for whatever the future brought. Deciding to start a family brought new light into our lives. Daniel and I were overjoyed, and every day was a new discovery, a new preparation for this next phase of our lives. But, as always, life had its own plans. One morning, during one of our planning meetings for the organisation, Sophia pulled me aside, looking worried. "Laura, I need to talk to you. I received a strange call last night. I think someone is trying to sabotage our work again." My heart tightened. The idea of facing another threat was exhausting, but I knew I couldn't ignore it. What happened, Sophia? Someone called me, saying that if we don't stop growing, they will expose secrets of our organization. They talked about our finances and questioned our integrity, she said, visibly disturbed. We decided to bring the matter to Clara and Daniel. We need to investigate this thoroughly, Clara said, always the voice of reason. But we can't let them intimidate us. Our mission is bigger than these threats. With Daniel's and our team's support, we began reviewing all our operations, ensuring everything was in order. We also hired a cybersecurity specialist to protect our data and find out the source of these threats. During this investigation, we discovered that a disgruntled former employee was behind the threats. He had been fired for misconduct and was trying to take revenge. With the evidence in hand, we went to the police and ensured he was held accountable for his actions. Despite the scare, this situation reinforced our determination. Supported by our community and justice, we continued our work with even more strength. Every obstacle made us more resilient, more determined to make a difference. While all this was happening, I found out I was pregnant. The news brought indescribable joy. Daniel and I were on cloud 9, and the idea of bringing new life into the world filled us with hope. Our family is growing, Laura, Daniel said, holding my hand, and I know we'll be amazing together. With the arrival of the baby, our priorities began to shift. We decided to slow down a bit with the work in the organisation to focus on our family. Clara and Sophia were incredible, taking on more responsibilities and ensuring everything continued to run smoothly. The months of pregnancy were a mix of challenges and joys. I had moments of fear, worries about the future, but also moments of pure happiness, feeling life grow inside me. When our son was born, it was the most magical moment of my life. Holding that little being in my arms brought new meaning to the word love. Daniel was by my side, his eyes shining with happiness. "Welcome to the world, our little miracle," I said, with tears in my eyes. "You are proof that even after so much pain, life can bring the greatest joys." In the following months, our house was filled with laughter and new challenges. Learning to be a mother was a journey, but with Daniel by my side and the support of our friends, I felt I could face anything. The organisation continued to thrive, now with Clara and Sophia leading many of the projects. I remained involved, but my priority was my family. The balance between these two parts of my life brought me a peace I hadn't felt in a long time. And so, with new life in our arms and the strength of our community around us, we continued the journey. Every day was a new opportunity to love, grow, and help others find the same peace and happiness we had found. Life would never stop presenting challenges, but with love, support, and determination, we knew we could overcome anything. And with that, we continued, always together, always strong, ready for whatever the future brought.